Hey, everybody, we are live. We are live because we are, and I've got Hill Kane with me. She is an incredible attorney, and she is going to answer so many of your questions. You all have been asking questions. I cannot answer them. I'm an attorney. So, Hill, this is what I tell them. I give them
Hmm.
one piece of legal advice, and that is if you have legal trouble, get a qualified attorney. There you go. That's the legal advice that I
That's
give.
like non-legal legal advice.
You
Great.
know, I mean, that is the only advice that I am ever going to give someone. But we talk about laws, and it is so nice to have somebody here who can actually, do a deep dive on some of these things. So, yeah, I apologize for that jump right in. Um, that was so bizarre. But anyway, so if you're joining us tonight, I'm Jen Hardy. This is Hill Kane Esquire. That's so fancy. And because she's a fancy person who went to law school at one of the top law schools, by the way.
For entertainment,
But, I feel
not
like
a
top.
top overall school kind of a. Mhm.
I feel like any law school, it's intense, man. My daughter-in-law is in law school right now. She got a full ride, whatever, to Wisconsin. She goes to Madison, and yeah, she was the number 3 debater in the entire country. So yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Would you say okay? That's impressive. That's very impressive.
yeah. So she got offers everywhere, but they went there, and oh my gosh, they got married in the what is the word? I'm sorry. I've got a sequin coat and it's stuck under my chair. Um,
I hate it when that happens.
don't you hate it when your sequins like get stuck under your chair? Um, what was I going to say? Oh, in the legislative building, like in the Senate place, they got married there. You
Wow.
can do that in Wisconsin. It's so incredible. So anyway, you got your law degree. You're pretty good. Dave said, "Yes, I did."
Yeah, I got my law degree and I passed the California bar in the first try. So
Well, geez, man, there you go. That is so cool. That is so cool. Yeah, we are having weird tech stuff. We got videos that aren't videoing and a thing that, you know what, but we've got a hill here, and that's what we needed. So, we're going to start with a question for the audience to think about. Yes, Dave, the capital. Thank you, the state capital. Oh, ooh, trivia about the Madison, Washington. It's not Washington. Madison, Wisconsin state capital. Did you
okay.
know? No building is allowed to be taller than that in all of Madison.
How
So there
tall
you go.
is it? Like, so are all the buildings like really
They're pretty short for a major
short?
city. Yeah. But I mean, it's kind of like the in Washington. It looks like that.
That just sounds like a rule a king would make. No one's building can be higher than mine.
That is exactly what it's like. But also the people there are the nicest people I've ever met. I have to tell you. It was crazy. We went live. We sat at a table outside and everything, and people came by and they were super nice, and yeah, it was just really
I
cool.
love me
So
some. I love me some cheeseheads. All wonderful people.
right? Oh my gosh. Yes. Lots of beer and cheese. So much
This
cheese.
would be probably a bad time to tell everyone I'm a Bears fan.
You can be whatever fan you want because we're not in Wisconsin now, right?
We're
So
not.
we are not. All right. Which side is, oh, this is a good one. Which good cheese? No, Dave, the kind of cheese, oh, cheese curds. That's what he was into. Oh my goodness.
Oh, so good. Yes.
Yeah. What side is always closest to the jury? See, I didn't realize that this was a thing until I talked to Hillary. So, what happened was, you guys, she told me all kinds of things and I took notes. And then those became our legal IQ test. So, there we go.
Okay. Oh, yeah. There I see legal IQ.
Yeah. So, yeah, because it's not myth or fact. It's just, yeah, they're going to answer the questions. We don't have, okay, somebody is calling me and apparently my phone is on.
Ooh.
So, um, oh, there, yeah, somebody I've been waiting for all day. Well, not going to talk to him now. Okay.
Whoopsie.
So, yeah, do you all know what it is? We don't have a lot of people here because yet, not yet, Hillary.
Yeah.
They'll be here because we're at a different time and yeah, we're going to see what happens. So, if you're just stopping by, we have Hillary. She's an attorney, and we are answering some questions here. So, audience and I are going to figure these things out. And then the cool thing is, Hillary can tell us why and how things really are. That's the thing. When we have sitting judges here, there's a lot they can't say, you know,
Oh, really?
but you
That
can
makes sense.
say,
Okay.
yeah. So
Well, I'm
I
not a sitting judge, and let's make sure I'm qualified to never be one by telling all the secrets.
yeah, no, nothing. Now, can you see the screen? Can you see the question?
Yeah, I can.
Can you see letters across the question, or does it just look normal to you?
It just looks normal. Maybe change the size of your screen. It just looks like a cute little red rectangle with the,
Yeah, it just
unless
needs to
I'm
be.
missing something.
No, you're
Now it
good.
just got bigger. You kind of zoomed in.
There we go. Now it's more centered,
There we
right?
go. Looks good.
Wonderful. Okay. All right, guys. Dave says it's the defendant.
Are we
Is
going to
the
wait for anyone else to log in, or do we just like, is
We're
there a
not, because I
buzzer?
want to put a new slide and see if
Eh,
this one.
It's the plaintiff, and there probably is a reason or was a reason, but there's just, just
See,
because it is.
here's what my guess would be. Because what
Mm-hmm.
if it's a case like a M word case and you've got some kind of heinous thing that you're talking about? Does the jury
Mm-hmm.
really want that person to be closest to them, or maybe farther away is good?
Well, they probably want to observe them. So the plaintiff,
That's true.
and that's in a civil thing.
Oh,
Also,
civil.
the
Okay.
in a criminal case, the defendants are often bad guys or bad people, and you've seen, like all those attacks, and so they don't want the defendant by the jury. That would be another reason. But they would want to observe a civil plaintiff so they can maybe judge their character or their outfits.
There you
That's
go.
what I do.
Now, Brooklyn says not true. Every state is
Could be.
different. So,
All
Brooklyn,
right.
there you go. Maybe you're an attorney and you know these things from another state. So, there you go.
Well, in California, where I'm from, it's the plaintiffs.
There you
And I'm
go.
sure someone built a funky courthouse and it's right down the middle. Who knows?
Yeah, who
It's
knows?
California.
Sometimes things are different. Okay. Well, Brooklyn, thank you for chiming in, because that's one thing to know. Oh no, don't even be sassy. This thing is being sassy. All right. That's okay. I know how to fix it now. Guys,
Smart.
technology, am I right? It's a whole thing. And guess what? I have conquered it. Haha. Ready?
I'm proud of you. Okay.
There we go. All right. Have I conquered it? Well, somewhat.
So I want to amend this question. Let's call it common law or civil law.
Okay, I like that. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
And let's see if anyone knows. It's a hard question and a little bit of a trick question.
Okay, so we're going to change this question, and I'm putting it in the chat. Now, here's the one thing I don't like about Ecamm is that I don't know how you can see the chat unless you pull up YouTube somewhere else.
I can see the comments. Is that the same thing as the guest chat?
You can? Yeah. Okay.
I can see the comments like Dave, David, Brooklyn, David.
See the last
Jen Hardy show. There we go. I just saw your question.
Okay, so the last person told me that they couldn't see it, so you can see it. So that's awesome. All right. So, and I put
maybe I do have mastered technology.
There you go. Because you know what? Gen Xers kick butt at technology.
Yeah, we do. I'm trying to get centered and stop wiggling. Okay.
Okay, it's really hard to not wiggle. I'm not gonna lie. So you know what I have? Wait, where did my fidget go? I have this thing.
Straight jacket.
No, it's this. It's these little BB things in this sticky stuff, and you can like move it. And because I find myself not with you, and not with any guests that I've had that's listening now, but sometimes I really have a hard time sitting still while people are talking. And so if I can smush this up, it's a lot better.
Oh, it's like a fidget spinner thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just like squish it, and it's nice. Okay. Dave, you said you talk a lot. Yeah, because you said Dave. Yeah, he does talk a lot. He's my moderator and my producer and my husband. And because we get some really, well, I've learned words and phrases I didn't even know existed in my 56
In prime
years.
time.
Mm-hmm. Well, my goodness, people come into that chat and then they say things like, you should really change your glasses because they age you. And I'm like, sweetheart, you have no idea how old I am. My face ages me. It's not my glasses.
That's just rude. That's like, just, if you don't have something nice to say, please be quiet.
Right. Well, there was a really good thing on in the shorts in YouTube, and somebody said it was a teacher, a kindergarten teacher, and she said, "Here's what you do: you only tell someone something that is potentially, negative if they can change it in 5 minutes. If they can't change it in 5 minutes, like your height or your weight or whatever, then don't say it." All right, Brooklyn said some words are Roman, like nolo contendere. Okay, there we go,
That would be
which is
Latin, but
Latin.
Romans, Latin, that's probably what they were
Come from
speaking.
there.
So,
Yeah.
mm.
All right. And Brooklyn, welcome to the channel. This is so cool.
I love Brooklyn. You could tell it's a smart person.
Yes. And Brooklyn, we're assuming she. JP, maritime law. Well,
Both can be true. Maritime law. I think once you're a certain amount of miles offshore, it's maritime law.
oh, we have
Like
Trial
that.
Junkies back. Okay, so Trial
Yay!
Junkies Hill is awesome, and there's lots of use civil law, which is modern legal system that draws heavily from Roman law.
Yeah, see, it's a hard question. So let's talk about civil law. The only jurisdiction that uses the civil law, that's from French and Spain, the colonial law, is Louisiana, and the rest is common law, and it does derive from England, which probably got it from the Romans. But Louisiana is very unique, and it's the way that they interpret precedents and the way that they publish laws and all that stuff is very different. And Louisiana is very unique, as in many ways, not just this way.
Right? That is very true.
Felix, you are hilarious. I love Felix. He's like, what makes an IQ test legal? Well, it doesn't have any bad words in it.
There you go. It's legal for everyone. Yeah, that's hysterical. Actually, didn't really think about that. It's compared to the illegal IQ tests that people give. You know. So we have an attorney here with me today because I keep saying I can't answer your legal questions because I'm not a lawyer. So guess what I did? I found a lawyer, and here she
Oh, she
is.
just found me.
I just found
Lame.
her. No, not only that, but she is hysterical and a lot of fun. And we're just getting warmed up, guys. You got to give us a few minutes. And yes, Trial Junkie said Louisiana is very special. Lived there for over a year. Yeah, I've never lived in Louisiana. Have you lived there?
I've not lived there. I have none of it. It's only 8 hours away and from San Antonio, and I've yet to visit. But it's on my list.
Oh my God, Hill, you're in San Antonio.
I'm in San
I'm
Antonio.
coming there in April.
I will see you then.
I'm coming there to interview judges.
I okay. Well, I'll see you then.
Well, I will see you then, because yeah, I'm apparently gonna have a whole room full of lawyers I'm talking to, and we're gonna do all the things. Hill, we're gonna talk employment. All right, we're gonna talk about that later. Okay, this is great. Now, okay, so what makes this IQ test legal is that an attorney helped me write the questions. I don't know. All right. All right, my favorite day off trial was when OJ put those gloves on. Felix, dude, let me tell you what. That was the first trial that I watched, like every second. And that was the most, who as an actor stand up and do something in a courtroom? I'm just saying, you know?
Well, that whole thing was ridiculous, but it was they call that theater. And
Yes.
it's also very strange. Federal courts typically don't let exactly David Hardy. They don't let the cameras in the courtroom because they're afraid of it becoming a media circus. Is exactly what happened with OJ. And I was in LA. I remember where I was when I watched the white Bronco, the slow speed chase.
Yep.
I remember listening to the trial, and I remember getting the verdict to come down. I remember that were there riots. I think there were riots. Then the civil case. I remember all of it. And a lot of the law professors from my law school were the pundits. And that was the first time they were just bringing on like every professor in town to talk about it.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was wild. That was the Wild West.
It was. Yeah, because we were in LA then too. And so, yeah, It was very like, I don't know, real. Like it felt like we were all part of it when you were there. For some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know. LA's, yeah. It's like going to another country, Louisiana. Okay. New Orleans is another continent. Yeah. Make sure you have your shots, but you have the time of your life. That's funny. Yeah. I've been to a few states. I don't know. I don't. Ooh, somebody thumbs down that. Well, maybe
I've been to
from
31 states. I can't see any thumbsing downing.
Oh yeah. One just came in. There we go. All right.
Maybe because I'm sorry. Take it back. Takes his backsies.
Oh, so we have out of 5 days in trial, about how much would be interesting to viewers. Okay, because she and I were talking about this earlier, so I made it a question. Brooklyn says the opening, the cross star witness, and the closing. Brooklyn, I think you estimated
Didn't we
more
say
time than we talked about. Yeah, not a lot of
that's
time.
the only thing that's interesting at all? And even some of that will put you to sleep, because a good opening is going to lay out, I'm going to show you this. There are 25 things or whatever. And then a good closing will say, well, I told you I was going to show you this, and they will, so that's the storytelling part of it. That's where the skill kind of comes in. And there are lawyers like Johnny Cochran, who just paint great pictures, great storytellers. And the rest of it is procedural and technical and hyper technical. And the jury's in and the jury's out. And it's I fell asleep talking about it. That's how exciting.
That's so funny. Okay, so you're a civil lawyer, correct? No.
I'm actually, I started out as a civil litigator doing insurance defense. I am currently mostly a transactional attorney, but I'm trying to get a job with a local patent trademark firm that is a litigation firm. So hire me. If they don't
There,
hire me, then you should hire me.
there you go. And yeah, well, I know some people over in San Antonio. That's so interesting. I literally will be there in April. I'm so excited. Okay, so yeah, this is really exciting. And we were talking about. Well, I think that's going to be a question later. So, out of 5 days, anybody else have anything? No, I think you'd all agree on the same thing. So, a lot of people that are scrolling through here, they watch court. That's how my channel comes up in their feed, and so But a lot of times, it's already been cut down by law tubers who take the full day, and they make the full day like 20 minutes, like the whole trial except the opening of Monica's. Okay. Oh my
People
goodness,
should.
that's a lot. Well,
Okay, Breadman, heard.
absolutely, Breadman. You know what? You are so absolutely right. And yeah, people stop doing the evil things.
And
And
Breadman, it should be noted that a lot of trials are over stupid civil things, like where fences go on your property, and a lot of ridiculous things. But luckily, only a very, very small percentage. Oh, here we go. Look at that. Ever make it?
and what is that percentage? We're not going to say it yet because we want everybody to try to guess in the comments. So yeah, this is good. This is really incredible. So we are here in your shorts feed. If you have just scrolled by, we are answering some legal questions. It is not a legal IQ test; it's more a legal IQ quiz. But that's okay. You know, it is
And
what
it's
it
for
is.
fun. We're not
It's
taking it that seriously. Maybe we're wrong. Someone in the chat will correct us. So it's
exactly.
fun.
Well, and we're right in California, right? Because as we all know, there's varying laws in different states, counties, and even cities. We are in the United States. So that's where the general questions are based on. Sometimes there's one person that was in Kenya, and then she moved here to go to law school in Texas, and so she comes in here sometimes, and that's interesting because
Oh,
those are
that would be
very
so
different.
fun.
Yeah.
Do you know where she went? Like
Somewhere in
which law?
Texas. Yeah, no, I don't know exactly.
We
She
have
did
we have a
say.
lot. We only have one law school in San Antonio.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's
It's
like
like
legal
legal.
Brooklyn. Yes. Should we phrase our answers in the form of a
A
question?
question. I wish that I had thought of that because then I would have. Okay, next time we'll call it legal judge. But see, here's the thing: we have to be careful because there's the whole copyright thing. So I wanted to call it fact or crap, but there's a game with that, and so we have
It's
to
a
be.
trade.
So
We
Davidson's.
could argue. I could make a fair use argument, but we'll come up with a better name.
Yeah. Okay. So Davidson's less than 10%. You are right with less than 10. Sorry, Dave.
But he doesn't know, but he LOL'd, but you're on the right track compared to someone that's at 82. So
Yeah. 80% don't go to
look at
trial.
trial junkies. Look at trial
You're
junkies.
there. Oh, trial junkies. You are the closest. Oh, Chef, nice to be here. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. I think that you will enjoy this channel if you like law stuff. So, we interview judges, lawyers, elected officials, and some ex convicts, but only if they're doing great things. Just not random convicts, honestly. And some people have told me that it's not appropriate to call them that anymore. But the people that have been on here have absolutely agreed that that is an appropriate thing to call them, and they're fine with it. So just so you know, if you're watching, they're not offended. Trust me, they've been called a lot worse. And they're thankful to be able to talk about the great things they're doing. Hill, oh my gosh, I have to tell you. So, Michael
David
Santos.
looked it up.
Oh, David looked it up. Okay, guys, there's the answer. Is that the answer? Yeah, 2 to 3,
It's
right?
kind of the answer. It's 1 to 3%. It's going to vary, but it's like saying 1 out of 100 is probably accurate. And in civil law, it's a little higher, but the stakes are less. It's just money. You're fighting over money, not your habeas corpus, your body or
Right.
corpus.
Oh, is my low? Okay, is my mic low? That's a good question, Dave. Am I quieter than Hill? Because I can change things. It's hard for me
I
to
don't.
tell. Because I can turn my headphones down and my mic up. I'm going to do that so you can hear me better. Yeah, that's a problem. Okay. All right. Let's see if that's better. Anyway, okay. So anyway,
Testing.
I got to tell you about this guy. Okay, there's 2 of them that I've had on, and so Michael Santos. Are you ready for this? This is so incredible, you guys. And for those of you watching, and for you, Hill, the interview with Michael Santos is here on the channel. So he watched Scarface in in the 80s, and at the age of 20 decided that was inspiring to him. He wanted to be Scarface. So guess what? He did. And he thought to himself, if I don't want to really go to prison, what I'll do is hire other people to sell the drugs for me so that I don't have to get in so much trouble. But he realized too late that put him in kingpin status because he sold a lot of the cocaine. And yeah, speaking of cocaine, Dave, will you fix the monetization situation for me? Anyway, so guys, at the age of 20, Michael Santos decided he wanted to be Scarface, turned himself into Scarface, did very well for himself, I might say, until at 23 he was caught. And they held him in solitary for a full year during his trial because he had such good connections and he was so good at what he did. Oh my goodness. And then he was sentenced to 45 years in prison, of which he only did 26. But while he was there, he decided, you know what? I'm going to make my life better because he's basically brilliant and can do whatever he sets his mind to. He got his bachelor's, he got his master's, he got half of his PhD before the prison is like, all right, buddy, I know we're supposed to be paying for these things, but we've kind of had enough. Then he reaches out to Ivy League universities and says, come study me. I'm doing great things. Started some businesses, marries a girl from the school, does all kinds of incredible things. And now he's the prison professor and he teaches people who are incarcerated how to start businesses and do great things so that when they leave, they don't reoffend. Is that incredible or what?
That's a good story. That's atypical and that's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just wild. Okay, Brooklyn said Rico, and Trial Junkie said Rico gets a lot of them, but I don't know what.
I think she means RICO cases, which is like organized crime.
Okay, thank you. See,
I think
because yeah, I don't know. All right,
so.
we're gonna bring in.
Also, being a kingpin and a conspirator could carry higher penalties than
Oh
than
yeah,
the
and it
people
did.
actually
He
doing it. Yeah,
absolutely, yeah. All right, now I know Brooklyn's going to know the answer to this.
she's gonna know it.
Yeah.
Oh, and they got it. They get those guys on tax evasion. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, well, he did a lot of stuff, but then there was another guy, Justin Paperny. Is it Justin? Yeah, and so I interviewed him too. Now he did a little bit of cheating in the financial sector. He did some white collar crime, and so while he was in Club Fed, he learned about Michael and studied, and now he teaches people that are in white collar prison. I have a single hair, you guys, that is just
Oh, I hate that.
making me crazy. And I think I'm just going to have to let it go. So if y'all see it,
Can't see
it
it.
is what
If
it
that's
is.
any consolation, it looks like you're
There we
insane.
go. I just pulled it. It was tucked under my glasses. Okay. I know. I'm just like, ooh. Okay. So sort of weird. Anyway. All right. Oh, we got more people. Actually, it wasn't that they couldn't get him on anything else. It was that no jury would convict him of anything else. Ooh,
That makes sense. So, jury nullification is real, and I wouldn't probably want to be on that jury that sent a crime boss to prison because it won't come from me.
Yeah, somebody was being weird. Okay, trial. It is in the well. Yeah.
It's the well.
Oh, it's the well. Oh, yeah. Oh.
Question.
We're talking about the question. Okay. Yeah, prohibition did fail. That was a big fail. Yeah, it's the well. You're right. It is the well. I didn't know that until today.
Yeah, I mean that's what drives us crazy about TV and movie trials because people are walking in and out of the well, and it's just like you don't do that.
So, will you explain what the heck the well is?
Sure, the well basically picture Judge Judy, right? So she's in this big dais, this big desk. It's called the bar, and they sit up high, usually above their courtroom, and that area in front of her and outwards is the well, and you do not enter the well. Sometimes a bailiff will enter the well, and you only enter the well to kind of cross it to get to the witness with permission from the judge. You've heard it on TV, permission to approach, your honor, go ahead. But typically only an officer of the court will come in and come into that space. And when they do it, they have a sidebar in TV, fake movie, and the judge is like leaning over, talking to people in front of her. No, a sidebar happens off to the side, the furthest side away from the jury, so they can have a private little conversation. If it's serious, they go to chambers. So yeah, stay out of the well. Stay
No
out of it.
going into the well. Okay, that's good. Oh, Brooklyn said, or on a sidebar. Yep,
Yeah,
you're right.
exactly.
So, Brooklyn, are you an attorney? I'm curious because you know a lot of things. And Dave, I was going to say that.
She's our soul sister.
She
We love Brooklyn.
is.
I also like the borough of Brooklyn. My cousin lived there, and it's fun.
You know, can I say I've never been to New York?
We have to go. Oh, I just
I
just
think
gave
we kind
away
of
that.
answered that. But, we can leave it up for a minute for those who, you know, did not who are just scrolling by because we've got new people coming in from the shorts feed. So if you're just stopping by, this is Hill Kane. She is an attorney, and we are here not to answer your personal legal questions, but we're just talking about legal facts. And if you've got questions about the law in general, specifically in California, she can answer them. If you've got them from other places, we've got Brooklyn here in the chat who knows a lot about the law too. So there we go. And trial junkies. Quick question: how many people remember Judge Judy having a gavel? Oh my gosh, I do remember that.
Did they have to take it away from her because she was so obnoxious with it?
Okay, can I be honest? I just did a whole thing on court myths. I did my own video on it, and I used the gavel in the first one, and then I couldn't put it down. I ended up using it through the whole thing.
I have one over here. I can get it, but then the
It's
same thing will happen. I'll just start
it's
banging
like
it on stuff.
oh, I don't know where I oh there
My
you go.
my
So this
gavel
thing
that
is
I have, this is a cute story. It says Francisco Sepulveda Junior High School because I was the student body president of my junior high school, and I still have the gavel.
really.
hmm David, I moved from Los Angeles, California, right when the kind of June 2020, right when the pandemic was
Okay.
at its crazy. California was crazy. You had to get away. Had to
It was
get
a lot.
away.
It was a lot. Oh, Davidson's called a sidebar because it happens in the front. You're hysterical. Oh,
It happens. It's supposed to happen at the side.
yeah. So he is hysterical. So Davidson's All Natural Gym. Hell, when we're done, you got to check out his channel. Number one, it's beautiful. If you can see from the picture. So it's an all natural gym because it's not a gym at all. He is a sawyer, and he has a YouTube channel about the sawmill. He has a sawmill on his property. That's his job, and yeah, it's
Like
incredible.
Sutter's Mill, like a mill that,
Yep.
wow,
Like he does it
that's
all himself. He has like the whole like big barn with all the equipment, and he sets up cameras. So his latest video I was looking at today, he's got like 150 acres. Correct me if I'm wrong, Davidson. And so what he does is he puts these cameras out there. You can see the deer. He had a couple of bucks on camera today. It was incredible. So yeah.
wow. I'm gonna go. I can't see. I can just see the text. I can't see the picture. So I'll get caught up later.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right. Apparently, she never had one ever in any of the videos now. Oh, yeah, now, because things are different now. So, and you can say all you want. Okay. So, in the chat, you all can talk about politics and religion all you want. You want to chit chat about it? That's fine. We're not going to do it here and engage with that only because I want to stay here on YouTube. But if you all want to have some kind of conversation, you go ahead as long as you keep it PG because we got a family media company here. That's all we ask. So let's see. I'm reading
I love
trial.
this trivia.
Wow, the court in South Carolina is so big that Judge Fant had the sidebar in front of him. Really?
Mhm.
Interesting.
It's also special because it's, I believe, typically off the record, but sometimes you will see the court reporter go over and take down. It just has to be definitely outside the presence of the jury, if there's a jury. I like judge trials, I'm not gonna lie, depending on the topic.
So here's a question.
Mhm.
Who picks if it's a judge trial or a jury trial? Is that called a bench trial? Is that what that
A
is?
bench trial is a judge trial in a criminal court. It's kind of complicated. I believe you can waive your right to a jury trial and then you have a judge trial. So probably the defendant, the person being prosecuted. And in a civil court, either party can request it.
Interesting. So what if
But,
the
you know,
defendant requests it and the other person doesn't want it?
yeah, if any side requests it, you're going to probably get it.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. Now we know.
But yeah, it's also like the most important thing, I think, differentiation between criminal and civil is the burden of proof. There's been books about it. I think Scott Turow wrote a book called Burden of Proof. So in a civil case, the plaintiff has to show by a preponderance, I'll get my hands in, by a preponderance of evidence, which could be like 51%. Like it's more likely than not. In a criminal court, to be convicted, it's beyond a shadow of a doubt, which is a very high, like 99.9% yes. And there's the shadow of a doubt beyond that. So it's almost certain. It's as close to 100% as you can get. So that's a huge difference in that. You can see why people fail in criminal, like the OJ thing, and then they nail them or they find them liable in civil court because the burden of proof is so low. Fun fact.
Interesting. Okay.
Mhm.
Oh, Dave wants to know, why would you not want a jury trial?
Okay. It takes a really long time. People are unpredictable. People lie to get on juries, and it's just it's like 12, probably 14 moving parts, and they cost more and they take longer. And they may not get the law right. At least you know the judge is going to get the law right. And if the judge doesn't, it's another, they don't read the right jury instruction or they tell the wrong law, then you get appealed. You can appeal on that. But yeah, and there's jury bias is a real thing. You get hometown, small country. Then you get into venue switching and venue shopping and judge shopping and all of that stuff. So it's just so complicated and so many moving parts. So I hope that that's a deterrent. If you're thinking of doing a crime, don't do crime. And in civil court, be good, nice, settle, work it out, be amicable.
Yeah. And as we learned, most people do settle.
Yeah, the judge will definitely, sometimes you have a different settlement judge than a trial judge because things can come out and the judge could develop a bias or an opinion. But the judges, your settlement judge or your trial judge, will really want you to settle. They will call you names. They will send you out into the hallway. They will just pull out all the stops to try and get the parties to settle.
Really?
Yeah.
They'll call you names?
Well, I mean, they'll call you names like, "Are you really doing your client a service? Or you're doing your client a disservice? You know, all you're doing is spending their money." You know, stuff like that. Kind of, I would call it like, sorry, bullying a little bit. You feel like you're being bullied, and it's always less expensive, but sometimes if you're representing a client, the client makes the call, and lawyers get in trouble when they don't pass on a settlement offer. Like I've had that happen, and the defendant's lawyer never passed on a settlement offer. So then it's called a 998 anyway. It's a California thing, but they were liable for every expense and penny that was spent from the time they didn't accept the offer that they never heard until the end of the case, and it was devastating financially for that person.
Oh my gosh, that's awful.
It's really awful. And it wasn't the guy's fault too. He was very badly hurt in a car accident, like lost his eye, was very, very, very badly hurt.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Well, he drove under a truck, caught on fire. Bad stuff can happen. And no, he was not drunk. And it wasn't my client. I was a defense attorney. I felt terrible. They made me, yeah, kind of like, "What's in your wallet, sir?" Like I could have taken the money out of his wallet. That's what made me not want to do that. A judgment debtor exam. It's terrible.
Wow. I feel like this is pretty clear, but all right. So we've got questions over here. Somebody
Okay.
said, David, he said people lie to get on a jury. Why and for what end?
They lie to get on a jury and they lie to get off of a jury. Like they'll say, literally, I'm racist. I don't like fill in the blank. So they will do that because they don't want to serve on a jury. And then there are people that want to be on a jury that think it's like TV or they're bored. So they will just people gonna people. So yeah, Davidson's all natural, Jim. I would never. I have actually been on 2 jury panels, and I kind of wanted to be on a jury because I wanted the experience from the other side. But they typically don't put defense attorneys on juries.
Really interesting. Interesting.
Hmm.
We have one of our neighbors here. That is so cool. I don't
Hi,
know who it
VG.
is, but I am very excited that you're here. So that is awesome. Yeah. It was funny because nobody in our neighborhood knew what we did or that we had podcasts and YouTube channels and stuff. And then I was on the cover of our town news or magazine, and people were like, oh, you do something. Yeah. So yeah, it was cool because
I
we're
mean,
in
you're
the house a
kind of a
lot.
big deal, Jen. Just admit it. You're the queen of Podfest. You won Podfest.
It's so bizarre to me, but it's a thing. Yeah. My kids have no idea. I was on a podcast. Did I tell you I was on a podcast? My daughter and I were on a podcast with a mother son combination. And he was just saying, Jen, you do da 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 da, like all the things. And she looks at me and she goes, is that what you do across the hallway? Yeah. I do tell you I do these things, but she has no idea. So anyway. Ooh, Brooklyn said, sucks to be on the jury and find out at the last minute that you were an alternate. Ugh.
Do they not tell you in New York if you're an alternate? Because you know when you're an alternate in California. At least last time I checked. That
Wow.
would suck. Yeah.
So what does it matter if
Well,
you're
yeah, because you go through the whole thing and then you never, like, you don't get a vote at the end. You're just there in case someone,
oh,
you know, jumps off a bridge or gets sick or gets disqualified for talking to the media or turning on the TV or all. It depends if you're sequestered or not. So many rules. We
wow.
are a country of rules.
Well in California, man. I swear, after living there, people do things, and I'm like, no, 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 you could get sued for that. You could get sued for that. And they're like, but we wouldn't. I'm thinking, well, you would if you were in California. Stop doing it though, because you could.
Yeah.
You know?
It's very litigious culture.
Oh my gosh, so much. So much. I'm sorry. I'm trying to see. We've got a lot of people in here. Can I tell you? Um,
Yeah, I can see how many people are here, and it's a good, nice round number or close to it. So that's so fun.
well, that's just by the
That's
by
just
the
this.
that's just by the 30 seconds.
Yeah. You're on, are you on your Facebook feed, your YouTube feed?
Yeah, I was trying to see, but I can't see, so I'm just not going to deal with that right now. Okay, so VG, asked to be on a jury. The judge asked me a question pertaining to the defendant. His accusations were deplorable. The judge's question was if I had any presumptions on the defendant, and they said they did, and he dismissed me. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
you definitely can't say you have any predispositions to
Well,
thinking anything.
usually if they're having a hard time getting people, this is where the one time I was on jury duty, the main time was the day after 9/11. So literally got called on September 12th,
Oh,
2001. And I was on a jury pool. We had to wait a couple days and then we went to show up. And there was a pilot, an American pilot, that they took a huge hit. Some people he knew had passed away, but or were murdered by terrorists. But allegedly. So the judge, when you say you're biased or you admit a bias or you have a bias, that's normal. But then the judge will say, in light of how you feel about it, do you think you can still make a fair judgment and da 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 da. So there's always that follow up question, and most people will have to be like, yeah, I can put it aside and be an adult. But if you can't, you can't. Like some biases run very deep, very deep. And then also once the lawyers hear that, there are so many like presumptive dismissals, like you get so many, and then you have to have a cause. So one of the other lawyers will probably get rid of you till they get their 12. And then again, 14, 15, depending on how many alternates they think they'll be needed, which also the longer the trial, the more the alternates, because something could happen.
This is fascinating because I had no idea that there were more than 12 people. Yeah. Oh, Dave
Yeah,
said, what did she just say? Yeah, that was a lot of information. That was good.
there are 12 people that are going to determine your fate. They may not be the original 12 people because you have alternates, and the alternates are there for everything. They sit in the box. They take place in deliberation. Deliberation. See, people dying to get on juries.
Yep.
It does happen. Dying equals lying. Don't lie.
Interesting. Not
Yeah,
enough
there's
people just
some.
voted for Charity. Wow. I just put a thing out. So if you are watching and you like Judge Boyd, I just put a thing out about her opinion on people trying to get out of jury duty. She's not a fan.
Oh,
Do not do it in her court. Good night.
I,
Yeah.
I believe it is our civic duty, and you should do it in good faith, and you should participate in the process. And if you don't, then you end up with bad juries. And I'm not going to mention any names, but we talked about a case earlier that had kind of a wonky criminal jury, and
Yeah.
that
And then
happens.
you write a book called If I Did It because,
Because I'm sure you didn't do it. You're just
you just wrote that
fantasizing
book for
about it.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like when the victim has put in their safety deposit box, if I'm gone, this is the evidence that proves the person did it. I don't know. So,
Oh, David. Yeah, I went a little. I'm not going to repeat what I said, but I said it. You can play it back, and we can talk about it later. I just didn't want to get accusatory.
it's always allegedly, right? I mean, unless somebody has been, whatever, it is
Yeah, I think
allegedly.
they were. But yes, some civil juries will have 6 people, and not all juries require a unanimous verdict. Criminal law, yes, I believe it all the time. But some civil juries, if you have 12, you need like 10 or whatever. Every place is different. Every state is different. Every county, you can have
Interesting.
local rules that have different that. So if you have a smaller jury, it's probably because a small jury pool or a poll. They poll jurors in the jury pool. A lot of tongue twisters.
A
Thank you,
lot.
David.
Yeah, there's a lot of chat in here. I'm liking it. I'm liking it
It's
a
a
lot.
fascinating topic. The whole thing, juries, 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 juries.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this one. You're getting all Lincoln Lawyer on us.
Well, this was just all of these questions were from the conversation we had this morning. Everything you
Mm-hmm.
said, I was like writing it down. Also, I got somebody was sassing me in the comments because I take notes when I'm doing an interview. I don't anymore because people think that I'm looking up questions or like doing whatever. I also nod when people are talking because it's my way of letting them know I'm listening.
Mm-hmm.
People do not care for that. So I work really hard at not nodding. It's hard because in person, you're like, oh, yeah, right, right. And you respond. But when I'm interviewing, I can't respond verbally because you have to be silent. So that's my way. Yeah. People don't want it. So try to sit here without moving while you speak.
Jen, you can't please everybody.
You
There's
cannot.
always going to be something.
I know. You know what?
I
It
mean,
is
if you're
what it
sitting
is.
there like a bobblehead, like Steven Seagal delivering a line in an action moving, but if a little bit of,
Yeah. Well, I guess,
I'll try. Now I'm sit perfectly still.
okay. Criminal in Florida, 6 up to 12.
Okay.
I don't know what
Criminal
that. Oh,
jury.
wait. They can have 6 up to 12. Really? Okay. Florida is very strange. Trial junkies, you know what? I got to tell you what. I live in Florida. It is strange, but it's a strange and wonderful place. I have to tell you. I really do like it. It's kind of like the Wild West out here in a lot of
The
ways.
Wild East.
It's the Wild East with gators and sharks. I stepped on a shark. Did I tell you? We were in the water and I was out with my kids and I used to do things at the I don't know. We used to study sea creatures because in California they have these places at the beach or whatever. And so I knew sharks have a very unique feel. So I stepped on it and I looked up and I saw a fin. And so I got my kids and I'm like, hey, let's go in. And my friend who is from Japan was on the shore and I turn around, there are sharks. There's a shiver of sharks out there. And she goes, oh, yeah, you're American. I thought you did that all the time. And I said, no, not if we know they're there. Like if we, We know they're in the water, but if we see them, we definitely get out. They had been swimming with us for 10 minutes.
Okay, I gotta ask, were these
No,
cute
they're
little
big. Yeah,
sand sharks? They were
they're
like
like
great whites. What's
no,
happening
no.
here?
So we don't have great whites. They're like 4 to 6 feet, and they really don't. So my kids do surf school in the summer, so every day we're at the beach all summer long. And according to their coach person, the thing is when they're 6 feet, we're the same size as them. They don't want to pick fights with us. You know what I mean?
No.
So before we moved here, I did the research. Okay, I'm playing with this thing, and now I got these little things stuck on my hands, and I'm just gonna say now I'm distracted. I'm putting it down. Okay, so the most bites in Florida are fingers and toes because people hang their fingers off the boards and do this and they look like fish. So that's the shark bites that people
So
get here. We don't
don't
have
take away. Don't do that.
don't do
Don't
that.
do that.
It is also strange in the court system. Yes, a lot of Florida courts. Yeah, yeah, it's a thing. Watch a spinner jump. Oh, it is really cool. There's a thing called a spinner shark, and they're really shiny, and they jump straight out of the water, and they look really beautiful. And then you realize
Wow.
it was a shark, and then it's a little less beautiful knowing it's a
I
shark for
think
some reason.
sharks get a bad rap. They're super fascinating.
They really
I used
are.
to work, I worked for Body Glove International. I was for many years, 16 years, and diving and surfing is a big part of it. So our founders had like been in the cages diving with sharks, and Shark Week was always a big deal. And Catalina Island, the channel between the South Bay and Catalina is full of sharks. And yeah, I do think I touched a shark once when I was paddling, but I told them, don't tell me what that was. I don't want to know. But you're just in the dark water. You can see nothing. And you're like, okay, just keep going. It can be scary,
Yeah,
but they're cool. Sharks are
they
cool.
really
And
are.
they call lawyers sharks. I guess that's some kind of an insult, but thank you.
Okay, Davis. It's called preach 'em, the same thing, but I don't know what it's called. I don't know what that means.
It's
Okay.
called preaching, LOL. I don't know.
What is it called when lawyers talk to witnesses and not just ask questions? It's
Oh,
called preach 'em.
preaching. He's actually answering the question. Thank you for
Okay.
keeping us on track,
Yes,
David.
we have several more questions. We're gonna have to have you back. That's all, because this has been really cool and people are liking it, and that is awesome because we that's what we want, right? Lawyers can talk to a witness when they do an on the record interview of a witness.
Well, do you mean your own witness or do you mean the other side's witness or someone on the stand? Because each side, let's just stick to criminal because people watch, that's what they show the most on TV. Um, Prosecution witness and defense witness. You can, yes, you can take a statement from a witness so you can communicate with them. Hopefully witnesses, even uh, tangential ones, will have counsel present, but you can't, like the defense can't talk to the plaintiff. They do take depositions, but what I'm talking about, or what we were talking about this morning, is the thing that you see on television when the lawyer, not in opening and closing, but while questioning a witness, gets in all the zingers and does the little aha thing. Who's the TV lawyer? Not Matlock, but I'll think of the other one. I can't think of the name. It was old school. Ironside was hit. Anyway, uh,
It is a
it's
poorly
called
phrased question. I'm sorry.
witnessing. You can prep them. You can prep your own witness. You can't prep the other side's witness. And when they ask you, when you come to testify, and you're a defense witness, the prosecutor will say, "Did you meet with the da da da? Were you prepared? Yes. What did they ask you? Perry Mason, thank you. What did you? Perry Mason was the king of the gotcha. But they what you did and what you were told and what you were asked and what you were presented with to prepare is they're going to ask you that right off the bat to make sure that you weren't coached. You can be prepared, but you can't be coached.
And I do apologize. I should have asked that in a completely different way when the witness is on the stand being whatever questioned.
Yeah. So
That is
basically,
the intent of the question. Yeah.
yeah, the lawyers are not allowed to testify, which they do all the time on TV because that's what keeps it interesting. And so it's more fun that way, but they're not allowed to do that. Does not happen in real life. It does happen in real life. You will get an objection. You might get disciplined, and you could ultimately be held in contempt of court if you keep violating what the judge says. I think they do show that once in a while, but it's mostly for dramatic effect, and it's just not real. But I was telling Jen that I went to law school. This is going to date myself. No one else will, so I might as well. But I'll be here all week. It was during LA law, so many people were applying to law school. They just spiked, and I think Lincoln Lawyer spiked applications, and no one dresses like that. That's a defense lawyer. Susan Day's outfit were unbelievable in LA law, and she was a public defender. No, when I got out of law school, public defenders made $48,000 a year, and someone in private practice made like 85,000. So they were not wearing Armani suits.
Oh my gosh. So when because I used to work at a hospital as an EMT in the emergency room, and we had an ER doc in the early 90s. She made $30,000 a year.
Right?
An ER doc. Like she had to know everything, how to do everything, and she
Yeah.
made nothing.
Nothing.
Absolutely
And
nothing.
those hours. Can we talk about the hours? Jeez.
Right? And yeah, it's crazy. HMOs, I'm telling you. Not a fan.
Yeah, that's a whole other topic.
Not
Woo!
a fan. That's a fan for another day, or the topic for another day it is. Oh, what is it? Nope, that's not it. That's the same question, guys. That's boring. All right. So, what is something that people wouldn't know about? Oh, you know what?
What?
Hold on. I'm gonna go to a different one because we're almost done. Well, I'm gonna have to add this one. And then I know which one we're going to ask last because there's a question that people have been asking me and they need to know the answer. So, but this one, do victim impact statement impact sentencing? Back in 30,000 was not a lot of money, Hardy, in the 90s for a doctor who had, no, they had so many.
They had 200 grand in debt, student loan debt, probably.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, I mean, it was obviously more than it was today, but okay, so victim impact statements are a relatively new thing, past few decades. And when I was in law school, they were very new. And so it's usually a post-conviction. So the person's been convicted, and during the sentencing phase is when the judge will hear the victim impact statement. And I don't know about you, but I watch them a lot on my true crime shows, and I cry all the time. And sometimes I feel nauseated. It's just so sad. So that is when they do come in to play, and sometimes you will have a victim impact statement from the family of the victim that's saying, please show mercy, or please do not impose the death sentence. And the convict's name is not bound by those statements, but he can take them under consideration. And then the convicted person can also put up witnesses, like his family will speak to his character and why the judge should show mercy. It can be very theatrical, but I do think that it's good for the family to have their day in court, to feel heard and be, to get to say that out loud to the person.
Yeah.
So it's really an interesting thing.
So Brooklyn says victim impact is only respect for the family. So I wonder if it's different in the state where you are, Brooklyn, than it is in California. That's possible.
Yeah, it's very common, and it might vary state to state, but they do have character witnesses for. I'm gonna look up that case, Trial Junkies United, TJU. But yeah, they're controversial. That's why they weren't allowed for a long time, because that's why they're done. Not the jury, the judge, in their wisdom, can take them under consideration or not. I honestly think it's to more help the victim's family than it is to help the judge.
I think
is that a legitimate reason? I don't know. I don't know. It's controversial. It's controversial.
But, I mean, if you lost a child or something and they give you 5 minutes, and that helps you deal with it for the rest of your life. I mean, what's 5 minutes? Really?
Maybe. I've seen some of those too, where the parents are yelling and screaming it's rough. And also a lot of times you can't get emotional. You can't yell. You can't scream. You can't applaud. They will have someone read it for them, because there's just no way to get through that.
Oh my gosh.
I don't want to be that. No one ever asked me to do that, please. I can't.
No, that does sound horrible. So this is the one question that people keep asking, because I keep saying, I'm not an attorney. You need to find a qualified attorney. And people are like, well, how in the world do I do that? So how do they do that?
Yeah, so if in business, you would ask colleagues, if it's a personal injury case, you might ask someone. If really, a referral is the best way. But if you don't know anyone that's used a lawyer, or they can't recommend a lawyer, I would not just call the biggest billboard in town, because those people tend to just want really, really big cases, and you're going to feel you're not going to be important to them. Your case is too small probably. But the state bars often maintain lists, like the relative state bars. Texas has a referral, California does, and at least you know that they're vetted and they're licensed. But then, you know what you can use once you find one? I wouldn't do Yellow Pages, but once you find one and you've narrowed it down, you can Google the person, and you could also Google and put like trial results and per the thing. Yeah, you definitely always want a good attorney. Refinance your house, homestead your house. Yes, Brooklyn has a lot of good advice, and it really just depends on the type of case. I do not recommend ever representing yourself, except in small claims when you have to.
Yeah. Yeah. There's way too much to know. And
You know,
that's what I keep telling people. And, public defenders are great if you absolutely cannot come up with money. But I think Brooklyn has a good point, which is, I mean, if you're up for like time, you find the money,
yeah.
you know.
Oh, they take credit cards. Believe me, they'll help you. They'll help you finance your defense. Yeah, this is a weird statistic, and I just kind of wasn't planning on saying it, but over 80% of people in family law court do not have lawyers. And they're big, big stakes, whether personal safety, your kids, your custody, and most people middle class people just cannot afford lawyers. It's really sad. We need more affordable family law attorneys.
That is, well, it is 8 o'clock. It's been an hour. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. This has been really fun, and I'm so glad that you joined me. And I think that we need to have you come back like very soon.
I would love to come back. Thank you so much for having me.
It's been really cool. And apparently 7,000 people thought so, Hillary. So there we go. Awesome. That is so much fun. And you guys are amazing. Brooklyn, thank you for joining us. You need to definitely come back. Normally, I have been going at 7. And so this is the first time with our time switch. So I think the numbers are dang good. And so obviously you guys did not hate that we switched times. And this just might be better, I think. So, all right. I love you. Mwah. I will see you on Monday with a very special guest. And Hillary, thanks again. This has been incredible.
Thank you so much. You're the best, Jen Hardy.